We are currently witnessing a train wreck of biblical proportions. Like this chapter, chapter 385 leaks that have officially come out earlier this morning, makes chapter 380 look so much worse when you think about the context of what everything means that has followed after that chapter. So let's just, before I read the leaks and give context to chapter 385 that's coming out right now, we need to explain what has happened for the last few chapters, okay? In chapter 380, we had Chizuru reject Kazuya, basically saying that she prefers to be a rent-a-girlfriend than actually being in a serious relationship. She prefers her job, getting paid like basically a bootleg prostitute. She, has feelings for Kazuya, but she just straight up says like, nah, I prefer my job over the money and all that, and my easy life over, being with you. And once again, I'm gonna go on record and say this, just because Kazuya spent a lot of money, his entire college fund and everything on Chizuru, doesn't mean that Chizuru owes him to be with him, but she has led him on for a very long time, taking a lot of his money. But regardless of the point, she rejects him and says pretty much no. You should move on. You should try to find someone else. So we fast forward a few chapters after that, and we see Kazuya, down in the dumps, very upset, at the verge of potentially crashing out. And as he's about to crash out, he basically reaffirms in his own mind, and then he basically says to Chizuru that I will never stop loving you, and I made a promise to you a long time ago that I will wait for you to love me, even if it takes 10 to 20 plus years, I will wait for you to love me. Which, just the cuck memes that Kazuya's always had follow him just makes it will never cease. Like, it reinforced the cuck memes for Kazuya thanks to just that statement being reaffirmed in the latest chapters. So with last week's chapter that we got, Kazuya is moving out of the house. For instance, Chizuru and Kazuya have been living together for a while now, and now that, the whole rejection thing happened and Kazuya wasn't really taking no for an answer, she rejected him 3 times in the previous chapter, eventually he decides to move out. They're separating, so to speak, and he's down in the dumps. And then we fast forward to this chapter, chapter 385. And in this chapter, the final page is Chizuru kissing him. Straight up kissing him. Now, this isn't the first time we have seen a kiss in this manga from characters. It's not the first time. But what makes this kiss so significant, and why it's definitely heating up the community discussion, is because of the context on what it means, especially after what happened in chapter 380 to where we're at now at chapter 385. So let's look at these pages. So this is page 10 through page 18 when it comes to text spoilers and links. And to do a brief summary of this, Kazuya is down in the dumps, he's very sad, and he reaffirms once again to Chizuru that even if it takes 10 or 20 years, he will wait for her to eventually love him. And I'm just like, that's not how love works, my man. That's not how love works. Like, love doesn't work like that. If someone doesn't love you and they're on the fence about it, they're not gonna, magically love you. That's not what love is. It doesn't work like that. If she is that comfortable with her life and she likes her job and everything, what she already has, and she's not fully committed to it, then I'm just gonna be honest. It's very clear that it's never going to happen. Now, miracles can happen, okay? And I'm going to go on a limb here and say it. This is a manga, this is Rent-A-Girlfriend, and at the end of the day, most likely, the obvious conclusion is that Chizuru and Kazuya will end up together, okay? Well, yes, let's rip off the band-aid, let's just address the elephant in the room. They will probably eventually get together, unless the offer of Rent-A-Girlfriend really, really does not like Kazuya, and he wants Chizuru all to himself. I mean, we know that the offer is very possessive over Chizuru as a character. We know that he bought, a life-size statue of Chizuru, took it from someone that won a contest. So yeah, we know he's very possessive of his character. But is he that possessive to basically cuck Kazuya? Who knows? I mean, we have seen little, the pool scene with the whole cuck thing, so who knows? Maybe. But anyways, back on topic, though. The point is that, yes, we know that Chizuru likes Kazuya. I think anyone at this point knows that, but she's just not admitting it. But the actions that she's been doing within the series is very awful. She's leading him on, misleading him, giving him complex or mixed feelings, mixed signals back and forth that he has a chance and then doesn't have a chance. It's just very manipulative. It's not good, because at first, her rejecting him is the right move. It's fine for her to reject him, and that's it. But the fact that she's rejected him, she rejected him multiple times, and then she does things like kissing him, it is just such manipulative behavior that it's unacceptable. It's really toxic. And as I said in my chapter 380 video for Rent-A-Girlfriend, they should not be together. Like, at this point, Chizuru is more toxic than Mommy. And Mommy's a toxic character. I'm not trying to act like she ain't. But what Chizuru has effectively done to Kazuya has literally got him wrapped around her finger, figuratively and literally, and just controlling his entire life. Like, that's all he thinks about Chizuru, that's all he does, anything he does about Chizuru, and everything he makes, his money and everything, is for Chizuru. It's nothing else. It's very pathetic, it's very sad, it's very lonely, it's depressing, and it's just like, I pity the man. I understand he digs his own grave, but I still can't help feeling pity for him, because honestly, it's a lesson of just being weary, not to try to pay people and think that they're eventually going to love you. That's basically what the story, honestly, I think the life lesson from the story is. But obviously, I've been kind of sandbagging a little bit and not really talking about chapter 385. So what makes this chapter so terrible, it makes 380 look even worse now, is that she kisses him at the end after he reaffirms that he'll wait 10 to 20 years. Once again in this chapter, this is his second time in just the last 5 chapters he's done this. So, after he says that, she follows him and kisses him and then tells the taxi driver to leave. Do you not see what's wrong with that? Like, let me spell this out here, okay? She straight up didn't say anything to, like, say, I love you, or I don't love you, no, whatever, but she's like, yeah, okay, that's cute and all that, I'll kiss you to make you still love me and manipulate you for the next 10 to 20 years, but that's it, I'll leave you with a kiss. And then, oh yeah, by the way, I know you're moving out right now, but I'll leave you with this, and just basically says nothing to him. It's wrong. It's really wrong. Like, when you think about the entire context of the scene, obviously this is leak spoilers, it's just early leaks and writing, so there could be more here that we are unaware of, but the fact of the matter is, after everything that's happened and the constant no's from her, and then she just does something like this after he's moving out, it's like, Chizuru, you're doing the very thing that, you know, you've been called out on, what the community is calling you out on. You're misleading him, you're leading him on. It just, like, dude, let him go. If you really want to reject him, just let him go. Let him eventually go. But obviously she doesn't want that. She likes the attention, and that's why. It's just, bro, it's so bad, man. It's so toxic. I cannot believe it's just getting worse. I know people might write this off and say we're just back to square one, and most likely we are back to square one. But honestly, this series would become incredible if Kazuya just proactively understood and came to terms that Chizuru was leading him on or manipulating him. I think this series would go from, let's say, a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10 to literally a 10 out of 10 in a chapter if he was able to acknowledge that. Like, I'm not joking. Like, Rent-A-Girlfriend is at that line of being such a good series and such a bad series. All it takes is one chapter for Kazuya to really just flip, crack, and change a little bit, and the series would become insane to read. But I'm just saying, man, it's frustrating seeing stuff like this, especially just with what happened in this chapter, because when you see a kissing chapter, it should bring you joy, happy, and excitement for a romance series. But it did the exact opposite. At least it angered me when I was reading the chapter. But I'll leave it at that. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's chapter of Rent-A-Girlfriend. I know it's leaks, and if more stuff comes out when the chapter officially releases, I will cover it. But I'll leave it at that. Be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.